Open your eyes.
People who know me know that I prefer to be on the other end of the camera. I like to focus the lens, not to be the focus of the lens. But pressing circumstances around the prosecution of a close friend and colleague of mine have compelled me to turn the camera around today. What follows is an interpretation of the events that led to the unjust and illegal assault of Temistocles Ferreira of New Bedford, Massachusetts. On October 29th, 2006, Temistocles, a New Bedford educator, youth leader, and artist, was traveling to UMass Dartmouth, where he was scheduled to perform at a party for the Cape Verdean Student Association. Leaving the parking lot, Temistocles walked towards the party. On his way, he was confronted by 3 police officers who stopped him and asked him where he was going. Temistocles complied with the officers when they slammed him against the car, frisked him, and found nothing suspicious. When they began searching his pockets, he asserted his Fourth Amendment rights, asking what cause they had for the search, and telling the officers that he knew his rights. At this point, one of the officers struck Temistocles hard, in his ear, with a metal flashlight, and the 2 others tackled him to the ground. With his hands pinned down, the officers were screaming at him to stop resisting arrest. Now handcuffed, with his ear bleeding, head throbbing, Tem was thrown in the back of a police cruiser, where he was made to wait and watch as the officers stopped more young black men and laid them face down on the ground in rows. Were they searching for someone, or trying to humiliate, or both? Look, that night Temistocles was assaulted by police officers, and then he was charged with assaulting a police officer. He got charged with the very crimes that were perpetrated against him. Moreover, he was never read his Miranda rights. He was never given medical attention for his ear. And he was never given his phone call. When he was in the back of the squad car, the police told him that they were arresting him for being a jackass. Now 1 year later, he's on trial, and he's fighting to prove his innocence and restore his reputation and get back to leading his life. And he needs your help. Okay, I wasn't there that night. I'm not a witness to the events, but what I am is a witness to Temistocles' character. I know what he stands for, and that's why I stand with him now. I've studied the works of John Dewey and Paulo Freire and other scholars whose writings form the basis of social justice organizations around the world, just like my very own Boston College here. I know words have power, and I put faith in those words. But in Temistocles' actions, I've seen the embodiment of their philosophies of democracy and education and self-determination. Tem is a teacher, a real teacher in the best of senses. And every time that we get together and we talk about our outlooks on life, my commitments to education and my belief in education as a force for positive social change are deeply reaffirmed. That's the most ironic thing for me about this case, is knowing what Temistocles stands for, knowing that he stands for peace, love, and justice, and seeing how he's been portrayed in some of the media attention around the case, and just by the police department. You know, those cops, they couldn't have known this about him that night. I understand that. And the police have a very difficult job. But when the police overstep their bounds, and when they violate people's civil and human rights, we need to take a stand. To find out more about the case and how you can get involved, visit the website here and at the end of the video. Don't just sit on the sidelines on this one. Take a stand.